What if one of the easiest ways to have a real English conversation is just to answer one simple question? Where did you go on your last vacation?
Oh, I love that question. The moment someone asks it, the conversation starts moving right away.
Exactly. You can talk about where you went, who you went with, what you did, what you ate, and even the funny things that happened.
And that is exactly what we are doing today.
Welcome back to Daily English Loop. I'm Alex, and this is the place where learning English feels easy, natural, and part of your real everyday life.
And I'm Lisa. So if you want to practice listening with a relaxed, real conversation, this episode is for you.
Today, we're talking about vacations.
One of the best topics ever.
Absolutely, and it is also perfect for practicing the past tense in a natural way.
Yes, because when people talk about trips, they naturally use the past tense.
Where did you go?
Who did you go with?
What did you do?
What did you eat?
See? Real questions, real English.
All right, Alex, let's begin. Where did you go on your last vacation?
My last vacation was the complete opposite of my normal routine. I went to Key West in Florida.
Ah, wow, that already sounds warm and peaceful.
It really was. I wanted sunshine, ocean air, and a break from cold weather and busy city life.
That sounds fair, honestly.
Very fair. What about you?
My trip was almost the opposite. I went to the Rocky Mountains in Colorado.
Nice. So right away we have a great contrast.
Exactly. You went for beaches and warm water. I went for mountains, hiking boots, and cool air.
That is actually great for learners to notice. If someone asks, "Where did you go?" your answer can be very simple.
Right. I went to the Rocky Mountains.
Or, "I went to Key West."
Simple, clear, and natural.
So when did you go?
I went in October.
Nice. I went in February.
Ah, that makes sense. February is the perfect time to escape somewhere warm.
Exactly. At home, it was cold and gray, so going somewhere sunny felt like the perfect winter escape.
The perfect escape is a really useful phrase.
Yes, you can say it was the perfect escape from work or the perfect escape from winter.
My trip felt different. October in the mountains was crisp and cool.
Crisp is such a good weather word.
It really is. The air felt fresh and the trees were changing color. There were yellow and gold leaves everywhere, so the whole place looked almost unreal.
That sounds beautiful.
It really was. What was the weather like in Key West?
Warm, bright, and easy.
Easy is an interesting word for weather.
I know, but that is honestly how it felt. Blue sky, soft air, warm water, nothing extreme, just very pleasant.
That sounds lovely.
It was.
Okay, next question. Who did you go with?
I actually went alone.
A solo trip?
Yes.
Wow, some people love solo travel, and some people find it a little scary.
That is true, but for me, it felt really peaceful.
What did you like about it?
The freedom. I could wake up when I wanted, eat when I wanted, and change my plans without asking anyone else.
That sounds really nice.
It was. I think solo travel can feel very calm if you need rest.
I like that. My trip was much more social.
You went with family, right?
Yes, I went with my older sister and her husband.
And were they good travel partners?
Yes, definitely. They're both very active and organized, so they planned most of the trip.
Ah, so they were the planners.
Completely. I just followed them and tried not to slow everyone down.
That is such a useful phrase. I tried not to slow everyone down.
Yes, very natural.
Okay, now another common question. How did you get there?
We drove.
So it was a road trip.
A very long one.
How long?
About 14 hours.
Oh, wow.
Yes, it was a lot. But honestly, the drive was part of the fun.
I believe that. Road trips have their own special energy.
Exactly. We listened to music, stopped for coffee, ate at little roadside diners, and took silly pictures along the way.
That sounds great. What about you?
I flew.
Direct flight?
Yes, only a few hours, which made the whole trip feel very easy.
Flying really is the fastest choice when you only have a few days off.
Exactly.
So, once you arrived, where did you stay?
I stayed in a small bed and breakfast.
Oh, nice. Those places are often really charming.
This one definitely was. It was old, quiet, and full of character. Every morning the owner made fresh pancakes, and I could hear the ocean from my window.
That sounds lovely.
It really was. What about you?
We stayed in a log cabin in the woods.
Wow, that sounds like a movie.
It honestly felt like one. Wooden walls, a fireplace, a big porch, and trees everywhere.
That sounds so cozy.
It was, especially at night when we came back tired from hiking.
Cozy is such a useful word there.
Yes, warm, comfortable, peaceful, that kind of feeling.
All right, now let's get to the fun part. What did you actually do every day?
We hiked a lot.
How much is a lot?
6 or 7 hours on some days.
Wow.
Yes, we woke up early, packed our backpacks, and spent most of the day on the trails.
That sounds intense.
It was. We walked through forests, crossed little streams, climbed to viewpoints, and saw these bright blue alpine lakes.
That sounds absolutely worth the effort.
It was exhausting, but so worth it.
Great phrase. It was exhausting, but worth it.
Very natural.
My trip was much lazier than yours.
I expected that.
I woke up late, ate pancakes, rented a bicycle, and rode slowly around the island.
That sounds lovely.
It really was. I looked at old houses, stopped near the water, and just enjoyed not being in a hurry.
I think that is one of the best parts of vacation, not rushing.
Exactly. In the afternoons, I went snorkeling.
Oh, wow. How was that?
Amazing. I saw coral, bright fish, and even a sea turtle.
That sounds magical.
It really did feel magical. The water was so clear, and everything looked calm and bright under the surface.
I love that image. So, what was your favorite moment on the trip? I think it was one afternoon when we reached a very high viewpoint above the trees.
What did it look like?
We sat on a huge rock, ate sandwiches, and looked down over this massive valley below us. It was so quiet. No cars, no city noise, just wind.
Wow, that sounds unforgettable.
It really was. I felt tiny, but in a good way.
That is a beautiful way to describe mountain views.
What about your highlight?
Sunset.
Ah, yes. That feels very you.
In Key West, everyone gathers in the evening to watch the sunset.
Like a daily event?
Yes, exactly. There were musicians, people walking around, families, tourists, and then the sky slowly turned pink, orange, and purple.
Oh, wow.
And when the sun finally dropped below the water, everyone clapped.
That sounds so joyful.
It really was. It felt like a little celebration every evening.
I love that.
All right, now let's talk about food, because that is always important.
Always.
What was the best thing you ate?
After hiking all day, I had this huge bowl of hot beef stew with thick bread.
Yes, that sounds perfect after a cold day outside.
It really was. It was rich, hot, filling, and so comforting.
Comforting is such a useful food word.
Yes, food that makes you feel warm and satisfied.
My best meal was probably fish tacos.
Great answer.
Fresh fish, lime, crunchy vegetables, spicy sauce. Wow, they were so good.
That sounds amazing.
And of course, I had key lime pie for dessert.
You had to.
Absolutely. Sweet, tart, cold, and perfect after dinner.
Okay, now I want the funny story. Did anything unexpected happen?
Yes, actually. While I was snorkeling, I suddenly saw a huge, dark shape above me.
Oh no, that sounds like a shark story.
For 1 second, I thought it was.
And then?
It was a manatee.
A manatee.
Yes, huge, slow, peaceful, but wow, it scared me.
That is such a good travel story.
What about you?
We had our own wildlife surprise. One night, we heard a loud noise outside the cabin.
That sounds creepy.
It did. We thought it might be a bear.
Oh, wow.
But when we looked outside, it was just a fat raccoon digging through the trash.
That is hilarious.
He looked at us like we were bothering him, grabbed some food, and waddled away.
Honestly, that sounds very raccoon-like.
Very much so.
Final question. Would you go back?
In a heartbeat.
Nice phrase.
Yes, in a heartbeat means very quickly, without hesitation.
So you would absolutely go back to Colorado.
Definitely. There were still so many trails we did not have time to explore.
I would go back too, but maybe not right away.
Why not?
Because there are still a lot of other places I want to see first. But if I ever need a warm, quiet escape again, I know exactly where to go.
That makes sense.
I think this kind of conversation is so useful for English learners.
Me too, because it sounds natural, but it also gives you so much useful English.
Past tense verbs like went, stayed, drove, flew, ate, saw.
Travel words like trip, flight, cabin, road trip, beach, hike, sunset, view.
And feeling words too. Relaxing, exhausting, peaceful, magical, unforgettable, cozy.
Exactly. Those words make your English sound much more alive.
Before we finish, let's do a quick recap.
Good idea.
If someone asks about your last vacation, you can talk about where you went,
When you went,
who you went with,
how you got there,
where you stayed,
what you did,
what you ate.
and your favorite moment.
That is already a full, natural conversation.
Definitely.
So now it is your turn.
Tell us in the comments, where did you go on your last vacation?
Or, if you did not travel recently, tell us about one trip you still remember well.
Even a few simple sentences are great practice.
We'd love to read them.
And if you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe to Daily English Loop.
Thanks for spending this time with us.
Keep listening
Keep speaking.
and keep making English part of your real life.
We'll see you next time.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.